in lovely Lenox, Alabama. Was it beautiful today or what? Man, awesome. Tonight, September 30th, last day of September, folks, 2022. We'll be back in the series Making Babies, the Tardigrade. What an amazing critter. How many of you have ever heard of a tardigrade before? The tardigrade. Hi, I'm Mr. Tardigrade. My creator made me. If you think I evolved from nothing for no reason with no designer, you need to go back to school and learn some real science. There's a designer. If you're walking through the woods and you see a pile of gravel and you see an arrowhead in there, you don't have to be a genius to figure out somebody made that. Somebody made it. Somebody made the tardigrade. We'll talk about that in a minute. Help us grow and reach the world for Christ. Subscribe to our channel, like us, and share us. If you want to help us stay open for free at our ministry here, go to join our 777 Club on drdino.com. See, I like what those guys are doing. I'm going to send them $1 a day. Take them on as my missionary to the blind and the dumb. We think God ought to get the glory for his creation. That's what we do around here. 1 mile or 70 miles dead north of Pensacola, and we're 1 mile north of the town of Lenox. We think God ought to get the glory instead of the stupid evolution religion. So come on down, a few miles off I-65. Stop in. If you sing, play the piano, play an instrument, want to do something for the glory of God, promote your ministry, come on down. We'll put you on our channel. Our science center is amazing. Visitors from all over the world. Some come visit and then stay. We can't get rid of them. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Judy, how long have you been here now? Since last November, coming up on a year. Yeah, it's magic here. Okay, take all of our tours. Great place to bring your youth group, men's group, Boy Scout group, anything like that. Bring them down. All kinds of cool science experiments. And take the real, I got to change that. 249 baptized now so far. Zip lines. Come try the zip lines across the lake. And there they are down there. 16 lakes and ponds to fish and swim in. Let's see, right here. Get our video series, 18 hours on all kinds of stuff on creation. That'll help you really get your foundation built. The Bible is true, okay? Get my series on what on earth is about to happen. Has anybody been keeping an eye on the news and what's happening in Israel, folks? It's coming together like unbelievable. This is it. I think I hit it right on the head. This is it. Get my book and video series, What on Earth is About to Happen. Okay, so we do all kinds of things on Monday, Sunday and Monday. We do Bible study, almost done with the book of Romans. Tuesday, we have filled in whatever I need. Wednesday, Whack an Atheist. That was fun. Last night, comments on comments, and Friday nights, Making Babies. If you want to help on this project, send an animal. You do all the research, put together the details. What is the most unusual way some animal or plant reproduces? And we'll do a YouTube on it. You guys help me collect all that stuff, put it all together. Let's see. If you think you would like a debate on evolution, call Donnie at Standing for Truth. Schedule a debate. We'll take you on. Okay, September 30th, right here. Now, warning. This whole topic, making babies, involves some little bit of adult content. So you take your kids out, or if they can handle it, bring them in to explain it to them. I'd leave them in, but that's up to you. Bible says in 6 days, God made everything. Everything. Stars, dinosaurs, man, everything. 6 days. Dinosaurs lived with man. Okay, get my video number 3, seminar part 3. Oh, there, for more on that. Okay. And evolution is the dumbest and most dangerous religious cult in the history of the world. Matt, that makes him mad when we say that, doesn't it? Too bad. Okay. The fool said in his heart, there's no God, and you're a fool if you don't believe in God. Okay, come down, visit Lenox, Alabama. Making babies. That's the first command God gave to all the critters and to people. Be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth. God, and it's the most talked about topic probably in human society. It's the greatest drive most males have, at least. Most important for the survival of the species. And it's done scores of different and amazing ways. And it cannot be explained. None of them can be explained by evolution. I want you atheists and evolutionists to give a step-by-step process with science, real science, how this happened for the tardigrade, which we're going to cover tonight. So God made them male and female. Male and female. It's all through the Bible, okay? It's pretty clear. Only 2. Never mind, that's another story. Be fruitful and multiply. Go have a bunch of kids. Be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth. God said, be fruitful, be fruitful, be fruitful, be fruitful. It's all through the Bible, okay? Tonight, I didn't get time to put the star in. I started at 2 this morning working on this, and I didn't quite get everything done. But when I add a star, usually it indicates I would like a real scientific explanation for this. So I'll just, let's see. Oops, not the seahorses yet. We're going to do them. Mitosis, meiosis. Oh, here we go. You pick a plant or animal and tell us how this evolved, step by step, to be able to reproduce like that. You can all help me on this project. Send any details you get to secretary@drdino.com. Okay, So for any and each of you, each of these life forms, if you believe in evolution, capital B, why would this life form want to reproduce in the first place? Why does any life form want to do that? That uses lots of resources, it risks harm or death to the parents, it increases competition for resources. What scientific evidence is there to show the millions of steps required to develop this ability to reproduce? I want science, not theoretical, evidence for each step. And know what you're going to do. Matt, they do this all the time. Well, we're here, so it must have happened. That's their logic. Brilliant, brilliant. Okay. How did both male and female develop at the same time in the same place and have an interest in reproducing? Show the scientific, not the theoretical, evidence for each step. And get it's not our video series, but that's a great one. Okay, the tardigrade. How did both male and female develop at the same time? Meet the tardigrade, sometimes called the water bear or the moss piglet. This thing is real tiny. 50 of them lined up of the smallest there's 1,000 or over 1,000 species of tardigrades. But it would take over 50 of them lined up to be an inch long. You can barely see the big ones without a microscope. They're really tiny. Pretty cool little critters. Let's see. Known colloquially as the water bear or moss piglets, they're a phylum of 8-legged segmented micro animals. They were first described by the German zoologist Johann August Ephraim Gies, whatever, in 1773, who called them a German name. 1,300 species worldwide, according to the National Pornographic. Okay, there's the tardigrade. What an amazing critter. A face only a mother could love. They're so ugly, they're cute. Look at that. A few have eyes, some do, some don't, okay? Okay, tardigrades are by far the undisturbed champions of nature's contest for survival. But just how tough are they? We've got the answer to that and many more of the most common questions people have about tardigrades. Wow, the toughest animal ever? What is a tardigrade exactly? Okay, 0.04 inches long, okay, pretty tiny, about a millimeter, okay? They live in a variety of habitats worldwide, probably 10 billion of them here on our church property. They live in damp moss, on flowering plants, in sand, in fresh water, in the sea, and adapt to the wide range of external conditions. And there are a large number of genus and species of these critters. But it says here, they have evolved. See, writers have to add that phrase, they evolved, or they won't get their thing published in peer-reviewed journals. You got to bow down to the sacred cow of evolution, don't you guys? We know. Yeah, if you had said all these species were designed, never would have got published in Britannica, would it? Let's see. There's a cube of salt. Shake the salt shaker. One little cube is the size on the right. There's the size of a tardigrade on the left. We call that tiny. A face only a mother could love. Let's see. Let me play a quick video clip about the tardigrade right here and here and here.
Also called water bear or moss piglet, any of more than 1,100 species of free-living tiny invertebrates belonging to the phylum Tardigrade. They are considered to be close relatives of arthropods, example, insects, crustaceans.
They always say something like that, close relations too. No, they're not. They're designed to be a tardigrade, you numbskull. Quit calling it a close relation to anything, okay?
Tardigrades are mostly about 1 millimeter, 0.04 inch or less in size. They live in a variety of habitats worldwide, in damp moss, on flowering plants, in sand, in fresh water, and in the sea. In adapting to this wide range of external conditions, a large number of genera and species have evolved. Tardigrades have a well-developed head region and a short body composed of 4 fused segments, with each segment bearing a pair of short, stout, unjointed limbs generally terminated by several sharp claws. The animals have no known specialized organs of circulation or respiration. The tardigrade's body cavity, hemocoel, is filled with fluid that transports blood and oxygen, the latter of which diffuses through the animal's integument and is stored in cells within the hemocoel. The alimentary canal traverses the body from end to end. Most plant-eating tardigrades feed by piercing individual plant cells with their stylets, spearing structures near the mouth, and then sucking out the cell content.
So they grab a plant, one cell, tear the cell open, and suck the juice out. That's what they live on. Now, guys, as we're doing this, I want you to really honestly ask yourself this question. You atheists, do you really believe this came from a dot of nothing exploding? For no reason. You really believe that?
A few tardigrades are predatory carnivores. Tardigrades may reproduce sexually or through asexual reproduction by means of parthenogenesis or through self-fertilization, hermaphroditism. Eggs are discharged either into the posterior end of the alimentary canal or directly to the exterior through an opening in front of the anus. The most remarkable...
This is going to be interesting. I'll show you the reproduction in a minute here. Let me get back to my slides right here. Okay. You can watch, there's tons of stuff on the internet about tardigrades, okay? They have a mouth, a brain, an eye spot, some of them. They have claws, different numbers of claws. Let's see, a nervous system, a muscular system. The female produces eggs anywhere from 1 to 30. Now keep in mind, this critter is really tiny. How tiny would 30 eggs be inside its body? And each of those eggs has the DNA code to make a whole tardigrade. How complex does that code have to be? You really think it came from nothing for no reason? Hello? Hello? Stop and think. Who taught you that anyway? They have a ventral nerve cord, actually two of them. We have one spinal cord. They have one running down each side. Unbelievable. They have the sucking pharynx. That's how they reproduce, believe it or not. The female receives the sperm up under her neck. I saw one, never mind. That's a long story. Okay, let's see. What do tardigrades eat? They eat fluids. Let's see. Tardigrades eat fluids, sucking the nutrient-rich goop out of plant and animal cells. Look at that mouth. The tardigrade's claws and distinct telescopic mouth are designed to tear open and puncture cell walls, allowing it to stick its mouth into all the gooey innards and slurp up whatever it can get into. Wait. It has a telescopic mouth? Once they tear into it, their mouth telescopes out, grabs the stuff, and pulls back. There's all kinds of muscles and nerves required to do that. How small is this thing? How small is its mouth? Now, I can't believe this author actually used the word designed. He might have got fired for just that one word. Probably did get fired. You never write for our magazine again. Yeah, you don't bow down and kiss the sacred cow. Evolution, okay? Does anything in the universe ever make you atheists want to say, oh my Lord, this had a designer? Look at that. Look at the teeth. They all happened by chance for no reason. All lined up neatly. They have orthodontist in the tardigrade world. Had braces when he was a kid. Lined all his teeth up just right. Look at that. Amazing. When tardigrades have enough food and water to support their body functions, they live out the natural course of their lives, rarely lasting longer than 2.5 years. Let's see. But they lack frills like a heart, lungs, and veins, because their body cavity is what's called an open hemocoel, which means that gas and nutrition can move in, out, and around efficiently without complex systems. How did that evolve? Tardigrade anatomy. Let's see. If you watch a tardigrade wobble around on its little clawed legs and poke things with its pointy face, it might remind you of a tiny hamster. If you looked inside its body, you'd notice a big difference. No tiny bones. Instead, they have a special skeleton that works like a rubber glove filled with water. The liquid that fills the tardigrades is called hemolymph, which is full of nutrients, much like our blood. So let's see. The tardigrades have a nervous system, a muscular system, a digestive system, wow, a reproductive system. This little tiny critter can carry up to 30 eggs. Wow. Internal anatomy of the tardigrade. There, this one's got some eggs in there. Okay, it's got a little brain and 8 feet. They've done lots of studies on the tardigrade. It was just recently they got to see them reproduce. Nobody knew for sure how they did it. And they've been studying tardigrades for 300 years about. Let's look at the foot, okay? This little foot, this one has 4 claws. Some have 6. Some have more, I believe. Anywhere from 32 to 48 claws on its body. Each one has muscles that control it to open or close. As it's walking around on little tiny moss plants, it has to feel its way around on the terrain, like walking on rough terrain. So each of these 8 legs, each of these 30 to 60 claws are sending messages back and forth to the brain. Pull harder, let go. Don't you do that with your toes automatically when you walk? When you pick something up, don't you automatically tell each finger which one to squeeze harder? I mean, it's subconscious. But each finger has to get a message back and forth to the brain. How hard should this one be closing, or this one, or this one, or this one? He has to do that with a whole bunch of toes. And how big is his brain? How big is the brain of a tardigrade? Bigger than some of you evolutionists. Here's one with 6 or 7 claws on each foot. They have to shed their cuticles in order to grow. So when they grow, their whole skin, it gets too small. So the skin splits and they crawl out of their skin and grow a new one. Well, a lot of animals do that. Have you evolutionists ever given a real scientific explanation for how that happened? Let's see. Their claws are incredible. Each one is sending a message to the brain, and the brain is sending back instructions. It's got a nervous system, a muscular system for each claw. Come on now. This happened by chance over millions of years for no reason, with no designer. Who taught you that? Anyway, get your money back. They walk on these irregular surfaces and suck the juice out of the moss or whatever we probably got 1 billion of them in our lake down here. Little bitty tardigrade, has a nervous system. Each one of the claws is connected to the brain. How do you evolutionists believe, how can you believe these claws, the muscular system, the nervous system, and the brain of this tiny creature had no designer? How can you believe that? Who taught you that? Go smack them hard and get your money back. When they're born, they're already a full tardigrade, and they just have to grow larger. And nobody takes care of them. That mama doesn't teach them nothing. You're on your own, kid. Lay the egg, leave. Okay? Started as a speck of a speck, a bundle of nerves and immature tissues curled up inside an egg, bunched up against its siblings. The small clutch of embryonic water bears, tardigrade, was immobile, silent, unseeing, and possibly unfeeling. Locked away inside the mother's ovaries, they waited to be born. One of nearly 1,000 species of hardy tardigrades, they may have been the product of a sexless act. In other words, they can produce asexually or sexually, with a partner, a male, or without. They can do it without bothering any of the handful of males of her species for fertilization. That reproductive ability, called parthenogenesis, a genetic heritage largely unchanged through the generations, was her birthright, and one she would likely have passed down to her children. Tardigrades are among the hardiest animals on the planet. Wait till you see what they can do. Resistant to heat and cold, radiation, and extreme dehydration. Let's see, the embryo would have emerged from its egg fully formed, ready to take on the horrors as her mother had been. Tardigrades, as researchers studying them way back in 1938 discovered, they have no childhood. They pierce through their eggs, small but fully formed. As soon as they're born, they bite a hole in their egg and crawl out. They're done. The embryo, captured by photographer Vladimir, is 50 hours old, nearing readiness to emerge. All her limbs, mouth parts, and most of her organs developed over the course of those hours. So the whole thing developed in 50 hours. From a sperm and an egg, turned into a whole, ready-to-go tardigrade in 2 days. Let's see, before mother squeezed her out into the world. Okay, let's see. When the egg-enclosed baby was ready, the 1938 researchers discovered she would have driven her mouth parts into the wall of her egg, carved a small hole, and wiggled through into her new life. Her organs streamlined for digest. Oh, streamlined. Doesn't that indicate like designed? Better not use that word. Evolved. Her organs evolved to be small. Okay. For digestion or reproduction would already be churning. She wouldn't swim through her wet world. Instead, get around on 8 stubby, clawed legs. Let's see. If she were in the wild, she would have gotten to work munching on the wet moss and wet small plants. She would cast off her outer skin several times to make room for her growing body. Here's how they tardigrade. Let's see, let me get to that one now, Matt. Is that on? No, where'd it go?
So minimize that one, and then it's the next tab on the Google Chrome.
Minimize this one.
Yep. So go to the bottom right. Yep.
Okay. Working on a screen that's okay. Bear with me, folks. Okay, next tab over will be, is this? Yeah.
There you go.
So they wiggle out of their skin. This is important for the making babies part. As they grow and get larger, turn the volume down, they don't say anything on this one. She's wiggling forward, leaving the skin behind. And then how do you get larger inside your skin? Because when they come out, they're larger. Anyway, then they lay the eggs so the baby can eat the skin and have something to eat, to grow on. So there it'll slowly wiggle out of its old skin. I'd like to know how this evolved, guys. I mean, not just a story. I want some science. How did it happen? You can Google all about tardigrades yourself. Let me minimize that one. Okay, now back to where I was. Making babies. Here, okay. Too many buttons to push. There. According to the Encyclopedia of Life, she would have been ready to give birth to her first batch of eggs within 2 weeks. So when they're 2 weeks old, they have the first, they make their own babies. Between 1 and 30 tardigrade embryos, depending how much food she had available. Some species of tardigrade lay eggs inside their cast-off skin. Some wait for males to fertilize them, but not this one with a Latin name here. Let's see. She would create eggs with near exact copies of her genetic code, just like her mother had with her. I see. She could expect to birth several more clutches of eggs in her life, which would last another 70 or so days. Unless, of course, she were frozen or dehydrated. What? Yeah. Let's see. The tardigrade, and it can have an active state where it eats, grows, moves, and reproduces, or it can stand temperatures down to minus 459. That's real, absolute zero, negative 459.6, I believe. Real chilly. So you can get these things down cold and they survive it. It can survive 20 months at minus 328 Fahrenheit. It can go up to 300 degrees Fahrenheit and survive. 300 degrees? Boiling water is 212. 6,000 atmospheres of pressure. It can survive. You know, we live under 1 atmosphere of pressure, 14.7 pounds per square inch at sea level. Okay? 6,000 times of that much pressure. It can, no problem. How do it do that? Can you guys, evolutionists, explain how it evolved that trait and why? Is it ever under that much pressure? Why would it be over-engineered to do that? It can live in a pure vacuum. Excessive concentrations of carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and sulfur dioxide. It can stand X-ray and ultraviolet radiation. So the tardigrade can go into a reaction when it has reduction in oxygen, not enough oxygen, anoxybiosis. It just says, okay, there's nothing to breathe. I'll go to sleep till there is. Can you do that? Let's see. And hydroboxis, reaction to the loss of water. Hey, no water, we're dying of thirst here. Okay, just everybody go to sleep. It can a reaction to freezing. If you put it in salt water, oh, I got too much salt, I don't like that, close up everybody. It can react to slow change in the environment. This is an amazing creature. So amazing that several groups have sent tardigrades into space to see if they will survive. And they did. Radiation, oxygen, pure vacuum. Tardigrades on the moon. Rest in peace. They didn't survive the crash when the thing crashed into the moon. The rocket failed, but the tardigrades made it. Tardigrades already experienced space travelers. 2007, European Space Agency sent a batch of tardigrades for a 12-day space trip. Most of the colonies survived the exposure to vacuum and cosmic rays. Interesting. Let's see. Chromosome behavior during male meiosis has been studied. This is a long, interesting story, too. We don't have time for it tonight. You study that on your own. But they can produce sexually with a mate or without. Either one. Life cycle. Baby tardigrade is born from an egg over 5 to 16 days with 1 to 30 brothers and sisters. Baby tardigrades have the same look as the adults. Once they're born, no one takes care of the babies. Babies eat their parents' cuticle. That's what the skin they shed off. Let's see. Tardigrades live for about 3 months up to 2.5 years. They don't live in groups, but technically they do because they all live so close together, okay? The amazing tiny animal had sex for an hour. Yep, there's a video. Scientists don't know much about how tardigrades have sex. That's a shame. Microscopic animals that live primarily in water are some of the most fascinating creatures on Earth. They're able to survive in just about any environment. They can withstand the shock of boiling water, temperatures that near absolute zero, survive crushing pressures of the deep ocean, or go without water for decades. They've even survived the vacuum of space. 2014, Japanese researchers thawed a group of tardigrades that had been frozen for 30 years. It took just a few weeks for them to fully reanimate. Then they quickly reproduced. We finally have footage of tardigrade mating, and it's even weirder than expected, from Nature magazine. Finally, we have footage of a strange creature having sex, and researchers have shown it's even more complicated than expected. When it comes to mating, researchers knew that some water bear species were bisexual, something that's not uncommon in the animal world, and it was suspected that fertilization happened outside the body. So the female is going to lay the eggs. The male has to be right there to spray the sperm on them. How did that happen? How does he know? Why does he want to do it at that exact time? What stimulates these two? Never mind. Okay. But on the whole, their sex lives has remained pretty mysterious. Now a team of researchers in Germany finally filmed the process, which you can see below, providing new insight into how the creatures reproduce. Might not look like much. This is the male ejecting his semen under the female's skin. But trust us, things get weird. Mating included mutual stimulation that preceded semen ejaculation and egg deposition. As the team described in the paper, the first step of the mating process is the female laying her eggs. This happens during one of the animal's many molting periods, when they shed their outer cuticle. So as they shed their skin, they lay their eggs. And the male just happens to know this is the right time. Who taught him that? He went to school. He took sex ed in kindergarten. Right. This happens during, let's see, the eggs were laid inside the outer layer of cuticle, and then a male approaches and gets into position around her, a process that can take several minutes. Once he's in the right spot, the water bears engage in mutual stimulation, until the male finally ejaculates the semen via an opening above his anus into the female's outer layer of skin. What you see happening in the footage above. Okay, so fertilization takes place outside the body. Let me get to that one right here. Is that this one?
Yep.
I think so.
On making asexual zoospores, which pack together in a biological enclosure called the sporangia until the conditions are right for their release. And when they emerge from the sporangia, the zoospores start swimming, using their flagella and chemical sensors to find the ideal place to start.
Okay, now hold on. You evolutionists, I want you to focus for just a minute, Daniel-san. This little water bear is real tiny. The sperm it is ejecting are real tiny. Each one of them has a little flagella, a hair, and a motor. It can swim around. How did that evolve? I don't want just, oh, it happened. No. Give me some science. Show me step by step So for millions of years, the sperm they contained all the DNA, but they couldn't swim. Oh, well, try again next time. You guys believe some of the dumbest things. You think this happened by chance. This is a 10-minute long video you can watch for yourself, but
all of the hereditary information in those zoospores came from one parent, fashioning.
Anyway, I'm going to cut the volume down here. You'll see in here some of the tardigrades swimming in a minute. They come into focus. There we go. As I got started at 2 this morning on researching on all this, I said, there's one on the moving his back legs in and out. How did this evolve? Exactly. Give me some details, guys. You guys are just, you believe the dumbest thing, and you don't even know it. Don't even know it. That's not the one I wanted, brother. There's a, let's see, minimize that. But the male grabs the female's head in the video they just made about this right there. Okay. So that's not the one. Far left.
Might be, I don't know.
Is that it? No. I thought I had it set up here.
Refresh the page.
No. There. No, that's the molting. Oh, maybe I'd have it shut down. Anyway, Google for yourself, tardigrade. And he grabs onto her head and injects the sperm under her neck. How did he know how to do that? It seems to work. I mean, they're making babies. And the tardigrade is amazing. There are all kinds of things you can buy. Tardigrade finger puppets. Tardigrade cuddly, squishy bears, you know, to comfort yourself. I'll go cuddle up with your tardigrade and go to sleep at night. Now, you evolution believers need to give a real scientific explanation how the tardigrade reproduction came about by blind chance. Not a just-so story, a fairy tale. Real, empirical, repeatable science. Did the male produce sperm for millions of years for no reason? Until it learned to only reproduce when the females were around? Don't they both have to be able to produce their egg or sperm at the same time? How long would it take to get the male learning how to do that? To evolve that slowly? Okay. Some great architects design expensive houses, put lots of detail in to make people say, wow, this guy's good. Don't they? People drive by those mansions, wow, that guy's good, okay? Some great landscapers create expensive yards, put in lots of detail to make people say, wow, this guy's good. Some car makers put in lots of detail into their expensive car to make people say, wow, these guys are good. That's amazing. Look at the detail, yeah. Some car companies create ATVs, put in lots of detail. People say, whoa, these guys are good. Some math whizzes can solve really complex problems and make people say, wow, this guy's smart. Wow. Some bodybuilders can lift a zillion pounds and have muscles like mine, you know, make people say, wow, this guy's strong. Uh-huh. Cabinet makers who build amazing cabinets make people say, wow, this guy's amazing. Potters can take clay from the ground, make amazing pottery. People say, wow, this guy's amazing. Why can't you say that about God? What is wrong with you? Hello? Hello? What is wrong with you? Human organism consists of 11 organ systems. It's pretty complicated. Logical people study the complex systems that interact with each other and say, wow, this had a smart designer. What's wrong with looking at the body of a tardigrade saying, wow, this had a cool designer? How many cells in the human body? 30 to 40 trillion. 40 trillion cells that grow and reproduce and interact with each other. They should say, wow, what a smart designer. But somebody has taught you evolutionists, if you dare say that, you're going to get fired or get made fun of. You're more worried about what your friends think than common sense, aren't you? A cell is so complex, even the high level of technology attained today cannot. People say a single cell, wow, this had a designer. See, God can take clay from the ground and make a man with 40 billion complex cells. The atheists say, wow, it all evolved for no reason. Matt, I don't know what else to say to try to help them. God said, I'm the Lord. It's my name. My glory will I not give to another. And you guys are giving glory for the tardigrade and for all the animals to a process called evolution that nobody has ever seen. Nobody's ever seen any animal produce anything other than its same kind. And you'll go off for the next 2 days on arguing about what's a kind, and you're missing the whole point. Missing the entire point. You can't see the forest because the trees are in your way. That's your problem. You don't get it. I don't know how to help them. Okay, take that screen down. Any questions or comments there, brother?
No, nothing worth.
Any super chats? You got to put super chats up.
Just one.
They didn't know to do that last time, but always put the super chats up. How do you tell? A lot of comments. Can't open official. Why you leave Fav vid you made? What?
What's your least favorite video?
What's your least favorite video that you made, that I made? Oh, I like them all. I have fun doing this.
Yeah.
I put a lot of hours in. This is fun. I love it. And I got a little bit of the Elijah personality, you know. Hey, is your God sleeping? You know, so I like making fun of the atheists because I'm trying to win you over. I really am. Listen, you can call me, 855-BIG-DINO, extension 3. Now, like the two morons that called me today, right away start cursing and swearing and calling me all kinds of things. Sorry, goodbye, click. I'm not going to listen to that. Okay, I don't put up with that. I got enough other calls to make. But if you really want to talk, call me, 855-BIG-DINO, extension 3. Take calls all day long. All right, no questions, no comments? Did somebody get stuff for s'mores tonight? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, the s'mores at Kirby and Chesney's.
Kirby and... Okay, you got all the stuff?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, forget the camera then. All right, bye. See you tomorrow.